Ian Morris, Shelbourne FC manager. How long did it take until that didn't sound weird to you?
Um, yeah, quite a while. I think once I took over, I got a lot of signings done really quickly. I think in the first couple of days, I made a lot of phone calls and spoke to lads that I would have known from playing anyway, and they came on nearly straight away. So that made the transition a little bit easier to learn on that. And I suppose you have to be confident with the players as well, and they'll feed off you. So if you're not believing in what you're trying to sell, essentially, they're not going to buy into it either. So luckily for me, I must have came across well because I got who I wanted on board.
When you first took over, what seemed the most daunting thing about management?
I suppose the stability of your job. Your job is dictated really by results and other people performing. I think that's the reality of football management, that you have to make sure you're prepared as best you possibly can, and that has to translate into your training, your preparation, the players you sign, all that has to come into it. And then you're hoping what you're giving the players are going to give you back with their performance, because when you're signing a player, you're signing because you believe in them and you want them to be here and you think that they're going to perform and they're going to deliver for you. So I suppose it's banking on that all that comes together, and that you can be successful.
Is it a calculated risk?
I think everything is. Like I was a risk for the club taking me in. I think every player that you sign is a risk. Whether some players might have a dip, some seasons they have a dip in their performance. Throughout the season, players have dips. Whether it's the wrong time, you could get everyone has a bad spell, and then results go against you. And some managers don't last while that happens, and you're just hoping that it doesn't last too long or that individuals don't have it. But that's where your squad comes into play. And I think the squad last season, 2019 season, paid dividends, because there was players maybe at the start of the season you didn't think were going to be as big for you, or you didn't think might play as much. But with injuries right from pre-season, there was lads who got opportunities. There was lads who came in and out through maybe 2 or 3 week injuries, and others took their chance. And the squad was just fantastic. It really was. Everyone performed. If someone was having a bad time, someone was there to dig them out. You had real experience in that changing room, like Conan, Kilduff, Lorcan, Dino, Dell. Fantastic senior players to lean on and really drag young players through.
How frustrating is it, the amount of outside noise that there was, that there was commentators and fans of opposition clubs that just tarred Shelbourne with, should have the biggest budget in the league, anyone could manage Shells, anyone can get them promoted. Personally, did that frustrate you?
Very frustrating, because I don't think as a club, as a group, we've got the credit we deserved, and I don't think it can be underestimated how much pressure was on that group of players, and you could see it. You've seen it in pre-season, you could see it at the start of the year. And then I think eventually everyone grew to see how strong we were and how good the character of the group was, and then performances started to really come, and results started to come, most importantly. I suppose I'm pleased with how it's ended, obviously, but it was tough at the start. I thought a lot of the budget shouts and a lot of criticism was unfounded. Like we relied heavily this year on our sponsors like DCU, FlyFit, Daniel Whelan. There was loads there that sponsored the club that we needed. We needed to have that in, and we do going forward. And I think the value they're getting now is going to be fantastic.
Was it difficult to manage the expectation then of Shells fans, of players, of commentators, of anyone looking in from the outside, or indeed within the club, that this is a big year for Shelbourne Football Club? There's been many bleak years, so when you're coming in, that the goal is promotion. Was it difficult to manage that expectation?
You could feel a lot at the start of the season, like there was a lot that came from our own fans that I took a lot of the brunt at the beginning of the season, through pre-season, the first few games, and it was kind of difficult to accept at the start. But I knew I had to prove myself, so I was under no illusions of the task that was ahead of me. I thought I thought the players dealt really well with it. And like I said, results and performances turned that tide, and you could see throughout the season the difference that made. I think the stats on the crowd are unbelievable. How big that turnaround was for the season, and that's going to be so big for us next year. Like having that support behind us, because the bond between the players and the fans throughout that year, how visible that was, how much you could feel it, the atmosphere. Like it was electric out there some nights, both home and away. The last game up in Longford, huge. Fans were unbelievable that night. And then in Drogheda, I don't need to even speak about that. I think the footage shows everything you need about that night. But they were the big games. I think there's a love about the club, there's an aura about the club now. Everything's building, it's coming together, and people are really starting to grab hold of it. And you're hoping that's going to drag, fans are going to drag people that maybe haven't been here for years back, and everything starts to build even further, and momentum starts to kick us on straight from 2020, and we're going to attack the season.
How long did it take for it to sink in? You got promotion, first year as manager.
Yeah, it took a while.
Has it sunk in yet?
No, I don't think. I don't think I suppose the appreciation, I think, has sunk in yet, because it happened, and then all of a sudden you're thinking, I need to get players that I want to keep done straight away. So I need to get them meetings done. I need to speak to the players who I probably wouldn't be keeping. And
how difficult were those conversations?
Really difficult. Every one of them players, like the club wouldn't have got promoted without the players that won't be here next year. There's lads there that were such a big part of what we were doing, and it's just football moves on, and I think lads need to play. Obviously Dino's is a different case, but really good ending, for lack of a better term. We sat down with a coffee, chatted about things, and luckily the lads have gone off, and they'll all get clubs if they want it. They're all good players and good people as well.
Talking about the players that left, you've replaced them. The signings haven't been half bad, to say the very least. How pleased are you with Shelbourne's transfer activity to date? Extremely
pleased. I think character-wise, really good, and I think ability-wise, really good. The lad to our group, every one of them, and that's what I'm looking for. It's great now sitting here and going, yeah, fantastic squad, but I can only put 11 of them out on the pitch, so that's when the difficulty's going to come. But it's a good one, but I think I really think the lads have taken it on board. The way they speak, the way they train, the way they demand of each other. They know we're all going to need each other at one point or another, whether you might be struggling, or it might be injury, or it might be form, or it might be suspension, that you have someone there that's going to step in and that's going to perform to the levels that we need them to get our results. Because it's about the unit, it's about the group, and everyone has to be top of their game, top of their level, and mentality, attitude, that's huge. It was a big one. I was only talking to Johnny earlier on, and we were just chatting away, and he was talking about what he's seen up in Dalymount in that game with the lads who weren't involved, and coming down the steps and seeing it on the face of the players that weren't involved that night, coming down and showing that appreciation or admiration for what the lads had given that night. And I think that was a big kind of, we have the group. The group are there for each other, and that's a big part of our success.
At the start of the season, there's a fans forum, and I think you might have touched on it. Dave O'Connor touched on it. Andrew Doyle touched on it. This isn't a 1-2 year thing. Like, Shelbourne Football Club is an old Dublin institution. It's quality and tradition. How far do you think this club can go in terms of progression over the next, not only next season, but the next 4 or 5 years?
I think we're building something really special. You look at our underage structure. We're one of I think could be the only club that has no feeder club. the lads in the academy, unbelievable. Stephen Henderson's come in, Stephen Van Hearn. The work the lads do is phenomenal. Really, I think it's undervalued a lot. What them lads do. The coaches, fantastic. What they give up and what they put into the club, and you're starting to see players coming through. And I think the club now is getting to a place where young players aren't leaving anymore. They aren't going somewhere else to look for maybe a Premier Division football, or to look for real structures, or to look for facilities, or to look for anything else. We've made it. We've tried to make it, and we're still building. We're still way off where we need to be, but I think we've made it a really, really good environment. I think we've made it a really good club to play for, and that's building now all the way through. So that's important. Yes, there's stuff in place, but we're still way away from where we need to get, or where we want to get to. That's getting your own academy. That's looking at that, having your own proper academy that's yours and that you can add to. That's obviously being a real force in the Premier Division at senior level. That's making sure every underage coach is looked after. That's making sure all the players are looked after properly, and it's treating people well as well. Like the DCU link, that's come to fruition this year. We've had 2 of the girls and 2 of the boys go in there on scholarships. So that's massive. We've got the Shelbourne Opportunity Network that we've helped some of the younger players career-wise. We've helped quite a lot of first-team players career-wise as well. So that's massive for the club. So we're starting to become a little bit holistic in the way we're doing things, and it's only going to get better.
How much are you looking forward to, or how much are you relishing Dublin derbies, competitive Dublin derbies in Tala, in Dalymount, but also here in Tolka Park? Like, they're going to be big matches.
Can't wait. Just even the prospect of playing so many of them, huge. I'd actually be disappointed if every one of the Dublin derbies didn't sell out. I think they should sell out, every single one of them, with momentum that's building. I think with the squads that teams are putting together, it's going to be tasty. It's going to be good, and it's something we're already talking about.
If we're to fast forward a year and we're back here in Tolka Park and we're having another chat, what will you have hoped to have achieved?
To have a cup sitting beside me.